Okay, so now we're gonna make the pleated mask. So for the pleated mask, there isn't a pattern per se. We're gonna use our ruler, so we can either use this, or we can use this, or even if you have a measuring tape, to make our rectangle, which is gonna be the base of our mask. When we are planning out the positioning of our mask, the dimensions are 15.5 in length by 7.5 inches in width. This is the direction, the long direction, that's gonna be either the top or the bottom of your mask. So your mask will be read from the top down. What I would do if you want to decorate this mask with either paint or with embroidery applique, I would think about how you could do that before you stitch it. But if you want to incorporate the pleats into your design and how the pleats fall on your face, I would wait till the mask is complete and then add the message that you want. Again, you can use a plain fabric if that is the message you want to do. You can choose the print of the fabric, that's something that means something to you, that you have a lot of freedom. So knowing that my fabric has no direction, but if my fabric did have a direction, I would want to put the 15.5 inch direction, the 15.5 inch length, I would want to put that in the vertical direction because I would want it to be read from top to bottom. So with that being said, I can give you an example real quick. Let me see. No, I guess I can't. I don't have anything really close to me with direction, so I'll talk about it in class tomorrow. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and again use my poster board because I don't want it to leak onto my ironing board. And I'm going to make a line that's 15.5 inches, and then I'm going to do a line perpendicular to make my rectangle. That is 7.5 inch. So 15.5 by 7.5. It's always good practice to not use the salvage edge in your material. So I'm gonna go ahead and line my ruler up against the salvage edge, but not utilizing that white space. This part of the fabric is woven tighter so that it can be fed through the machine. And so it's not as easy to sew, especially when we're doing hand stitching. So I'm gonna go ahead and draw my line. So I have on my ruler, you can't see because it's right off screen, but I'll move it. There we go. So my ruler, I have 15.5 here. Oh, that's 15. So then I can just make my straight line like so. Okay. And then I'm gonna go perpendicular from that. I'm gonna do 7.5 inches. So I'll go ahead and do the top. So I'm lining up my ruler with the 7.5 inch and I'm making sure it's perpendicular, like so. Just like so. Making a little square there. If I'm using a shorter straight edge ruler, not a problem, can be done. So I'm gonna go ahead and take my ruler, line up my 0 with where I'm going to cross, and then try to make it as perpendicular as possible. There we go. 7.5. Make a little line to denote where I'm going to turn it. And then it will be trickier if your ruler is short, but it doesn't mean you can't do it. Go ahead, as perpendicular as you can, line it up. Sometimes rulers, even though they say they're the same distance, are a little bit different. Make sure. 7.5. I didn't make that line quite enough. So that was my measurement issue. Let's see. Yeah, I would have lined up perfectly with this line. It's okay. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Measure twice, cut once. All of these great phrases to live by, like so. So I have my fabric now with a 7.5, 15.5, 7.5, 15.5. I can go ahead and cut that. Again, for the strips, it'll be 1.5 by 36 inches. And I'm also going to be making channels on this that is a little bit different than the Kaiser because I'm going to be hand stitching and it's easier to do this. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to come down and I'm going to cut, I have some extra fabric right here. I'm going to cut two 2-inch strips, about 4 inches each is plenty. So I have a 2-inch, since this ruler is 2 inches wide, I lined it up like so. And then I need to make it, I'm going to go ahead and make a second line here, just to have a little extra, because I'm going to be trimming this down to the size of my finished mask. They only need to be 4 inches in length. You can do a little bit longer, you can do, but don't go shorter than 4 inches. So if I'm doing it at 4 inches, let's use this ruler just for consistency. Yep. I don't know what happened to my pen. Woo! Let's see. Maybe I can still use it. Oh, Lordy. So then I can go up 4 inches from here, 4 inches from here, make a line, and go ahead and make a line here. I can cut it a little bit longer than 4 inches, but we need at least a 4-inch minimum. I'm going to do it just a little bit longer. These, if you want this to run in the same direction as this, you'll actually want your 4-inch strips to be this direction. So if you want this to be in the same direction as your directional pattern, you'll want to do it in the other direction. So what I can do is actually cut 2. The pen is dead. I can cut 2 in this direction.